suggesting, okay. You're suggesting this square, right? You're suggesting the king comes to this square. What about the others? If the queen comes to this square, can the king escape? Can the king move to a square where it's not checked?
It can't escape. It can go diagonally and sideways.
Yeah, but will it escape the check or will it still be checked?
It's check.
Yes, Riyan. What about the others? What does Suhas think? Suhas, if the queen goes to that square, what will happen? Okay, Ayatna, you missed the last two lessons, right? Ayatna, did you miss the last two lessons?
Yes, sir.
So you know what check and checkmate is?
Yes, sir.
Check is when the king is in danger. What are the three ways we stop the check? Ayatna, what are the three ways?
Place.
What else? That's the correct first one. Other two? What are the other two methods? Anyone can speak up now. What are the other ways in addition to moving the king? What are the other two ways of stopping a check? How do you stop a check if you can't move the king? What are the other ways? Anyone else? Sorry?
We can block.
Yeah, we can block Anantapriya. What else? What's the?
Capture.
Yes, we can capture. Yes, Ayatma.
Moving.
We can capture the piece given check. So here, when the queen comes here, can anyone capture the queen? Where I have marked the red dot, can the queen
No.
be captured? Can
No.
someone come between the king and the white queen?
No.
So it is checkmate, right? This is the answer for the first one, queen to e8. Everyone understood? Suhas, you are silent. Suhas, you understood? Suhas? Did you understand? Shall we try the second one? Now, this black dot means it's black's turn. So anyone has a suggestion? Since there is only the black king and the queen, can the black king give a check to the white king? Can you give a check with one king to the other king?
Yes.
Can your king threaten the other king?
Yes, sir.
What about the others? What does Murari think? Can one king threaten the other king? Can you give check with the king? Suhas? No,
No.
you can't, right? You can't move
Yes.
one king next to the other king because then the kings will get captured and you can't make check with the other king. So here it has to be a black queen move. So if you will have to move the queen and give a check from which the white king can't escape. Any answers? Any ideas? If any of you guys tried this before, you can tell me the answer. Otherwise, I'll give you a couple of minutes because anyway, I think we have to wait a bit for the other guys. We'll have to give the others a couple of minutes. So we'll see if the others join. And
Sir, we can move to H2. H2.
okay, wait, just give me a moment. I think I heard you. Is this the square you are meaning?
Yes, sir.
Murari, is this the square you are meaning?
Yes.
Okay. Rion, what about you? Suhas? Suhas, you're not answering. What's happening with you? I think your audio is out. So if it's difficult, you can send me a chat message even. I don't mind. Rion, what's your answer? I'll give you guys another couple of minutes and then we'll see how it is. Rion? Okay. Suhas, what's happening with you? Suhas? Okay, right? Queen h2. The queen move here is correct. The king can't capture because the black king is guarding and the king has nowhere to go. All these squares are covered by the black queen. So the king is checkmate, right? Okay, today I think we discussed, I told you we'll talk about castling, but before that we'll just try this last one, the third one. It's again white to move. And can you all see the answer? I'll give you a little hint. Doesn't it look a bit like this? The same thing as in the first position. The only thing is the board has kind of changed. You have kind of rotated the board like this. You have maybe rotated the board from here. You have moved the board pieces and got the pieces down like this, something like that. So it's quite easy if you think about the answer.
Move to A4.
Sorry, Ayatna?
Move, move to A4.
Who to A4? Sorry, what piece? What is the
To
piece?
A4.
Queen, right? This is the queen.
Where the queen has to go.
Okay. What about you, Murari? Rion? Suhas, what's happening with you? I'm not getting any answers from you.
Sir,
Yes?
queen can move to the what?
This would be A. And this is 1. So this is B like that. I don't need to draw all the numbers, right? This is number 8. So you guys can figure it out, right? So tell me the...
So queen can move to C4.
Okay, if the queen moves to C4, which is this square, can the king go to here or here?
Yes.
So it's not checkmate, right? It's only a check. So, okay. I think we got an answer from Ayatma, which was, I think, this square.
We can move to A4.
Sorry?
We can move to A4.
Yeah, this square, right? So
Yes.
that was the same thing Ayatna was told. What about you, Rayon? Rayon and Suhas.
The queen can capture the pawn and the king will get check.
Yeah, but can't the king capture the queen afterwards, or the rook capture the queen?
And
So then it's only a check, right? It's not checkmate. I want it to be checkmate. You know the difference, right? It's a check the king can't escape from. So guys,
sir, the queen can capture the rook.
well, then can't the king capture the queen?
Can.
So even that doesn't work. Shall I, you need some more time, or shall I tell you the answer? Rayon, Suhas?
Sir,
Sorry, Ayatma? Ayatma?
I had another answer.
Okay, can you tell me the other answer?
Capture rook.
Well, if you capture the rook, can the black king capture your queen?
Yes, because
Then it, then is it checkmate, or is it just a check?
it's a check.
But it's supposed, what I want is a checkmate, right?
Yes.
So then queen cut rook is wrong. Okay, right. The correct answer is the queen here. Ayatna's first answer and Murari's answer is correct. Queen here, the king can't stay on this line, can't go to these two because of the black pawn and rook, can't go here, the queen is covering. This is checkmate. Okay? Okay, all of you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, let's. Okay, today we were going to talk about one of the special moves in chess. Now, normally, how many pieces can you move in a turn? How many pieces can you move in one turn? If it's your turn, how guys? Okay, I got Ayatna. What about the others? How many? How many
One.
pieces can you move normally move? One. Okay. And how many squares can the king normally go? How many squares do you move the king?
One.
One.
Yeah. Okay, so today I'm going to teach you a special move. It's called castling. And what happens is you get to move two pieces at the same time. And you get to move the king two squares. Right? Of course, special things, do they happen all the time? Now, for example, your birthday, it's a very special day, right? Your birthday is a special day, right?
Yes.
Each of you. But does it happen every day of the year?
No.
No, right? It only happens on the day you were born. It happens only once a year. The same thing, castling, you can only do once during the whole game, right? So first of all, I'll just show you a little video that shows you castling, right? This should show you castling. See, black moved the king and then moved the rook in one turn, right? White also did the same thing. Now I'll just show you. Okay, again. Right. Okay, this is another one. Now black will castle. See, black moved the king. White also did that. right? It'll be there in slow motion, right? All of you saw that, right? That is castling. It is a special move in chess where you get to move the king 2 squares towards the rook, and then the rook jumps over the king, right? So that's the third reason why castling is special. Can the rook jump over pieces normally?
Can't.
No,
Only
right?
knight can.
Only
Only
the
knight
knight
can.
can, yes. But during castling, you get the rook to jump, right? But of course, castling is not a rook's move. It's considered a king's move because the king is the one we first move, right? And the rook just helps the king finish castling, right? So in castling, what do we do is we move the king 2 squares towards the rook, and then the rook will jump over the king. All of you saw that? All of you saw the video, right? Here, of course, the rook just appeared on the other side. But you saw what I did, right? I moved the king 2 squares towards the rook, and then the rook came next to the king on the other side. Right? It is castling. It is a special move in chess, one of 2 special moves in chess. And of course, like I told you, your birthday, it comes once a year. So like that, castling, you can only castle once. But now, how do you know the birthday, which day the birthday is, or when you can celebrate the birthday? It's the day you were born on, right? Or if you talk about Christmas, it's the 25th of December. There are things that help you say what day is special like that, right? So castling also, there are some rules that tell you how to do castling, how when you can do castling. The first one is obvious. It has to be the first time you're moving the king in the game. So once you castle, you have already moved the king, so you can't castle again, right? When you are castling, it has to be the first time you're moving the king. Second, it has to be the first time you're moving the rook. If you have already moved the rook, you can't castle. But how many rooks are there for a team? How many rooks does white have? How, how many rooks?
2.
Okay, Rion is correct, right? There are 2 rooks. So if you move 1 rook, still there is how many rooks left? How many rooks do you have if you have already moved 1 rook? If you have moved 1 rook, how many other rooks are there? Sorry?
यहाँ से 2.
One.
No, there is 2 rooks, but if you have already moved 1, there is only 1 left, right? If you have moved 1, there are 2 rooks left. 1 has moved, there is only 1 rook. So if you have already moved this rook, you can try to castle with the other rook. You get 2 chances with the rook because you have 2 rooks. But with the king, if you move the king, you can't castle for the whole game. Y'all understand? Did y'all understand, guys and girls? Y'all understand? Murari?
Sir.
Rion?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ayatna, you said yes, right? You understood.
Yes, sir.
Suhas, what about you? Did you understand? Okay. So here, when I castled, did I castle right now? When I started, did I castle?
No.
Because I needed the king.
No.
I needed the king to come here. Can the king come to these squares when there are pieces there? What do you
No.
think? No, right. So the thing is, the third thing is the squares between the king and the rook have to be empty. So if I want to castle, now white just castled, but black, he can't castle like this. There's a bishop in the way. So you need the squares between the king and the rook to be empty so that the king and the rook can move freely. All of you guys are understanding. Murari,
Yes.
Ayatma,
Yes, sir.
Suhas, Rion, you understood the first three, right? So can someone repeat the first rule for me? Anyone? What is the first rule about castling? When can you castle? What did I say? About the king? It has to be what time the king is moving. First time, right? It has to be
Time.
the first time we are moving the king in the game for it to be a castling. Otherwise, we can't castle if
Yeah.
we have already moved the king. What did I say about the rook? The same thing. Can someone repeat? Anyone?
Rook can Rook cannot jump over the pieces.
No. About castling, it has to be the first time you're moving the rook, right? In the
Yes.
game, when you're castling, it has to be the first time you're moving the king. It has to be the first time you're moving the rook. You understood?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
then the third one is, what did I say about the squares between the king and the rook? Can someone else answer, Rion?
They have to be
Yeah,
empty.
yes,
Yeah.
sorry, they have to be empty. Rion, is she correct? The squares between the king and the rook have to be empty? Is it, when you're castling, the squares between the king and the rook have to be empty or not? Rion, what do you think? They have to be empty? These squares between the king and the rook, when you're trying to castle, do they have to be empty? Yes, right? Otherwise, now see, black can't castle. He has to wait for the rook to move, and now only he can castle, right? So always you have to wait until the squares between the king and rook are empty. Okay, that's three, right? The fourth one about castling. Just give me a moment. Okay. The fourth rule on castling is,
Yeah.
now here, the white queen. What has the white queen done to the black king? What do we call this?
Check. Check.
Suhas, what do we call this? Murari?
It's a check.
Yeah, it is a check. So when the king is in check, it doesn't let me castle, right? I can't castle while the king is in check. If I move the king, I lose my ability to castle. So I will not be able to castle because I have moved the king. So here, you have to block the check or you have to capture the queen. Can I capture the queen right now? Can I capture this queen? No.
No.
So
No.
I have to block the check like this. And now afterwards, I can castle like this. Now I can castle, right? So when the king is in check, you can't castle. You understand? Atma?
Yes.
Okay, Murari did. Rion, you understood?
Yes, sir.
Suhas? Okay. Now I told you when you all know the king can't move to a square where it will get captured, right? Can the king go to a square where it will get captured?
No.
Can you? No. So what happens if I castle this side? Can black capture the king if I go here? What do you think?
Yes.
Yes. Who can capture the king?
Bishop.
Yes. So it doesn't, I can't make any move that leaves the king to be captured. So I can't castle this side. They don't let me. But I can castle this side. So I move the king towards the rook on this side, 2 squares, and the rook comes here. But if I try to castle here, the bishop will be able to give me a check or capture me. So I can't castle. This is about the rule. You can't make any move that leaves your king in danger of getting captured, even castling. You understood Suhas? Murari? You understood?
Yes.
Rion?
Yes.
Ayatna? Ayatna, you are? Okay. So you can't castle here, right? Lastly, okay, when the king tries to castle this side, what happens if it goes to this square?
It will get checked
Yes, from whom?
because the bishop is
Good,
in.
good, Ayatna, good. Right, all you
I'm not
guys.
tired now, I'm Rion.
Oh, sorry, I thought it was Ayatna. I'm sorry. Rion, good, well done. Okay, so all you guys heard what Rion just said, right? That square, the square the king passes, it's going to be checked. So you can't move the king 2 squares when you try to go 1 square already, it's going to be checked, right? When you're trying to go here, it's checked. So how can you go to 2 squares? How can the king go 2 squares when the first square it's going, it's already checked? You understand what I'm telling? If the king has to
Yes.
go 2 squares, already on the first square, it's going to be checked. You can't even think of going here because the king is not jumping. The rook is the one who's jumping. The king actually goes 1 square and then goes to the second one. So here, you can't go here. You're passing this square, it's checked. So you can't castle that side. But this side, you can castle because here, the bishop is attacking the square the rook passes. The rook can jump. The rook actually goes all 3 squares over the king, right? So the square the rook passes doesn't come into it, but the square the king passes, if it's a check, you can't castle. So there are 3 rules about castling which involves check. Can someone tell me the first rule? There were 3 rules about castling about check. Can someone tell me one of them? Ideally the first one, but any of the 3 rules? You, you guys need some time to think or you need help?
The spaces,
Sorry?
the spaces between king and rook empty. Have to
Yes,
be empty.
that's correct. That is correct. But that's the first 3. Now I'm talking about 4, 5, and 6, where I talked about checks. Can you castle if the king is in check?
No,
Murari, can you castle if the king is in check?
No.
Rion,
no.
Suhas? Okay, so that is the first rule, the 4th rule, the first one about checks. You can't castle if your king is in check, right? See this one I showed you about the queen. Okay, not that one. I need to come back to that one. This one. See, the bishop is giving a check, so black can't castle. It doesn't let me. First, you have to capture the bishop, then you can castle. Right? So you can't castle when the king is in check. That's the first one. The second rule involving check is you can't castle if after castling the king is going to be in check. I want to castle here. What happens when the king comes here? What happens if the king comes there? Sorry?
He'll get checked
From whom? From whom?
by rook.
The rook, yes. Right? Good. So here, you can't castle if after castling the king is going to be in check. That was the second one involving checks. And the third one was you can't castle if the square you're passing, it's going to be check, right? Here the bishop is covering this square, so the king can't go here and castle. So all 6 rules. The first one, you can't castle if the king is in, the first rule is you can't castle if you have already moved the king. It has to be the first time you are moving the king. Okay? Suhas? Rion? Murari?
Yes.
Atna? Everyone okay? It has to be the, okay. The second one is what? Can someone tell me the second one? First time for whom? First time you're moving the? First
King.
time king and first time moving the?
King and rook.
Yes, good. King and rook both. So that covers two rules. What was the third one about the squares? The third one?
Squares have to be empty.
Good. The squares have to be empty. Murari, the squares have to be empty?
Yes.
Okay, right. Then the fourth one, the first on the checks. The fourth one. First one on checks, what is the rule?
We want to block the check.
Yeah, well, the rule is you can't castle if the king is in check, right? You can't
Yes.
castle if the king is in check. And what about the fifth one? Can you castle if after castling the king is in check? Can you castle if after castling your king is going to be in check?
No.
No, so that's the fifth one. And the final one, the one with the arrow right now we are looking at. What's the last one? Can any of, no, what's the rule? Can someone tell me the rule in your own words? Can someone tell me in your own words the rule? The square the king passes. Yes, Ayatna. The square the king passes, you can't be checked. Good, right? So those are the 6 rules on castling, right? And this is how castling was done. Again, we'll have a look at that one of the videos. This is how Kingside castling is done. The king moves 2 squares and then the rook comes over. And in Queenside, see the king moves still 2 squares and the rook came 3 squares. Over, again, it will show in slow motion, right? That is how castling is done. Always castling is a king's move. So because of that, it is the king who starts castling. Right, see here, okay, wait. Here it's the king that starts castling. The king is the one who calls the rook over and king is the one who starts castling. So this will help you remind it, right? The king is the one who always starts castling. we have to move the king first. You can't move the rook first. Always remember, right? On the computer, I'll just show you something. Right now, I'll just move. Come back to this screen. Now, if I move the rook first, it's a rook's move. They don't let me castle like this. Always you have to castle, you have to first move the king. Remember, right? Who do you have to move first when you're trying to castle? King or the rook?
King.
Yes. So always remember that. You have to move the king first. Suhas, which piece do you move first when you're castling? The rook or the king? Who do you move? Rion? Okay. So here in Lee chess, in chess basics, you guys can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Right, in chess basics, in the advanced ones, there's something called castling, the special king move. You guys in the intermediate, you guys can try this, and on your own they'll explain how to do castling. They'll ask questions about it, right? You can see there are 9 questions on castling, and you can do all of these on your own, right? Not now. Any of you guys can share the screen and do it for me now? Anyone want to try it first?
Sharing.
Okay. Ayatna, all of you need to log into Lichess to share the screen
I'll
first.
try, teacher.
You need to log into Lichess. Rion, any of you are ready to share the screen and show?
I'll try. I'll try.
Okay, Ayatna is going to try, or Rion. Okay. Can you share the screen? I've made it so that you can share the screen, but you need to log into Lichess. Any of you guys can try. Okay, I think Murari is sharing. Murari, unfortunately, it says your bandwidth is low to share the screen. I'm not sure whether you'll be able to share the screen, unfortunately. So someone else can someone else share the screen, please? Rion, yeah. Log into Lichess and go to learn. Rion, I can't see your screen. It only says you have started sharing the screen. Can you go to Lichess?
Your this one, Nani?
Go to Lichess. Can someone else share the screen? Can someone else share the screen like I have done here? You can share the screen and try this, please, like this. Can someone share the screen for me? So, Ayatna, okay, wait, Ayatna, Suhas, can you share the screen? You guys can share. Can any of you guys share the screen and do this for me? Have you logged into Leeches? Ayatna, Suhas, Murari, even if you can't share the screen, can you try it on your own? And let me know what's happening. Murari, can you share can you try it? I think there was a problem. You can't share the screen, but you can just try it. And if there's a problem, let me know. Ayatna, what's happening? Suhas, can you share the screen for me? If you guys are ready, you can share the screen.
I'm logging into the chat.
Okay. So you can share the screen. Murari, it says your bandwidth is not enough. Something wrong with the network, I think. Murari, unfortunately, it doesn't let, something's wrong with the internet connection. I think they don't let you share. You can try it without sharing the screen, right? You do it without sharing the screen. Can you try it? And if there's a problem, just let me know. Sorry?
I have finished it.
You finished it. Good. So what about the rest of you? Suhas, have you guys? Ayatna, yeah. Now go to Leeches. Go to Leeches. Yeah. Go to Leeches. Go to learn. Learn. Chess basics. Chess basics. Not that one. Chess basics. The top one. Yes. Right. Now go below. Below that. Intermediate. Castling. Yes. Now you try it. The rest of you also need to try it on your own. So castling. Okay. Right. Now can you do the castling queenside? Okay. Go to the next one. You had to now castle. Right here black is not moving. So you have to get your pieces out. You have to get can the bishop jump? Can the bishop jump? You have to first move the good. Okay, queenside. Wait. Ayatna, is it good moving the queen out first, or you want to move someone else first? Maybe a knight or a bishop? You're white. You only have to move the white pieces. Don't worry about the black ones.
I have to move the bishop.
Yeah, so you move the bishop. You move your white ones, right? Don't move the black ones. Yes. Now, when you move the rook, now can you castle? Wait. Can you castle now? Can't, right? So you have to block the bishop. Yes. Can you see that bishop? You have to block the bishop. You have to block both bishops. You have to block both bishops. No. Then you have to block the other one also. Move the knight or someone else to block that. Can pawns go sideways? If you move the rook, can you castle? Okay. No, bring that knight, yes. And can you use, okay, now can you castle? Yes, right, good. So like that. Okay, no, go back to menu. We didn't talk about en passant. Right, well done. So anyone else tried it? Rion, can you try it? Can you share the screen and try it? Anyone else want to share the screen and try it?
Sir, can I share my screen?
Yeah, yes, Rion, you can.
Okay.
share பண்ண எனக்கு வராதும்மா உங்களுக்கு தெரியும் எனக்கு வேண்டாம் சார் என்னை தனியா விளையாடட்டா
ஏன் ஷேர் பண்ண விடுது இல்லையா? ஏன் என்ன பிரச்சனை?
Okay, Rion. Murari, if you can share it and show it. But I think there was a problem, right? Rion, you have started sharing, but I can only see a black screen, please.
நீ ஷேர் பண்ணி பத்தாதானே முதல்?
ஷேர் பண்ண மாட்டேன் ஆனா ஷேர் பண்ண வராது எனக்கு தெரியாது தெரியாது உங்களுக்கு தெரியும்
Rion, what's happening? Rion, what's happening?
ஷேர் பண்ணி பாடுங்க சார். அப்ப என்ன செய்றீங்க நீங்க?
Suhas, can you share the screen for me? Or Murari, Suhas or Murari, can you try and share the screen for me?
Share. Share. Screen then share on screen. Start now.
Okay. Suhas, what about you? Can you share the screen and try?
Share. Share already. Why recording over has to message start now.
how to share how to share
Suhas, can you share the screen? Suhas? Suhas, can you share the screen?
Sir, I also can't to share that.
You also can't. Okay, guys. So wait, I'll share my screen again. Right here, you guys saw what Ayatma did, right? So what you guys can do is, you guys can do this on your own, and later you can take a screenshot and send me even, like, you know how to capture a screenshot? You can just press the insert and the screenshot, and you can just paste it on, say, a paint, make a JPEG like this, and just send the institute a picture of this, where all of this is done. You can send me a picture like that so that I know you all did it. You can just write your name or something and send it to the Knox Institute so I can have a look, because I think some of you guys have a problem sharing the screen, right? So y'all can just finish the whole thing, take a screenshot and send me. In between, if you have a problem on any of the questions, you can take a screenshot of that and even send the institute, and they'll let me know and I'll answer you guys, right? Because I think except for Ayatma, all of you had a problem sharing the screen. So this is, I think, the only way I can kind of help you guys out. But anyway, even if without the screen sharing, you guys understood this, right? About castling.
Screenshot.
Sorry, Murari, I didn't understand what you just asked. Okay, you have a question, right? So you guys try this on your own and send me the answer, send the institute the answers, and we can have a look. If you take screenshots of the individual screens, if there's a problem. And also you guys need to send me the answers to these, right? All of you got this, right? We discussed the first three, right? We discussed the first three here today. You guys try the remaining ones, right? All of these are checkmate in ones. Black dot means it's black to move. So can you guys try the rest of it for next week for me? Can you? Guys, yes or no? Can you guys try this for me?
Okay.
Y'all got it, right? Y'all got the message on WhatsApp, right? So y'all can try it and send me the answers and I can have a look, or we can discuss in class, but you guys need to try this, right? So y'all have any questions on today castling? Because most of the guys, like there were about 4 or 5 guys missing, we'll do a recap next week also about the rules, right? But y'all have any questions today on castling? And if you guys have a question, so in that case, shall we stop? Murari, you have a question? Ayatna, you had a question?
No.
Okay, okay, Murari. Ayatna, you have any questions? Rion, any questions?
No, sir.
Suhas? Okay, so in that case, we'll stop for today, right, guys? And I'll see you guys next Saturday. Okay, guys, you all can log out. Rian, you have a question you can ask. You have
I
any
don't
question? Okay, right. Then you can log out.